separate videos, whatever.
Yeah, one video was fine. One flickery video. Flicker, yeah, flicker free, allegedly. And do these make any? Yeah, these claim to be flicker free as well.
Yeah, we already looked at the multicolor version of those, and we know that they do flicker.
We've already scrutinized those.
But they're very respectable. I mean, you know, we were being very nitpicky about them, and most people probably wouldn't notice.
Actually, somebody says in the comments box that we should make a whole video series scrutinizing random products because it's entertaining.
I would be happy to do that. I don't come out here very often, but I mean, hey, if that's what people are interested in, why not, right? Okay, so...
Well, first off, what do you think looking at it? Does it look like it flickers to you?
Yeah, it does flicker. It's not bad.
Usually, to me, they look worse when they're wound up together versus just in the string. And this actually is opposite. To me, the flicker is more noticeable when it's unwinded versus when it's wound together.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I would tend to agree. But this, you know, this is respectable. And it's nice to see that the manufacturers are starting to recognize that people want something that doesn't flicker. So there's hope. And maybe these things will get better with time.
I'm bothered by the fact that it says flicker free. It should say reduced flicker, because it absolutely still flickers. But I do appreciate the improvement for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's no comparison between this and what you got 10 years ago. Absolutely. What you got 10 years ago was horrible. Like, it was, like, if you went like this with it in the camera, you'd see them go, it just looked terrible.
The string would probably be half off in the video.
Exactly. So I have my oscilloscope here, and I have a current probe. And we're just going to, this may be a fool's errand, but we're going to try to measure what the current looks like, and that'll tell us what the flicker frequency is. This is such a tiny amount of current, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try anyway.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's 240 or what would it be, 140 or, well, it would be 60, 120, 240? The three options? I
don't think it would be 240. I don't see how you can double the frequency after full wave rectifying it, so it's probably going to be 120.
Okay. It just looks very, very fast to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is based on my expertise in working with power supplies. Just because I can't think of a way that it would change the frequency doesn't mean that it won't. I could be wrong, but I'd say that there's like less than a 5% chance that it's going to be anything other than 120. So let's see.
Well, I hope this works then. It's showing something.
All right, so it's kind of hard to trigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger off the AC line. I haven't used this in a long time, so there's a way to trigger it off of the, here we go.
How old would you say this thing is?
Oh, this is about 25 years old. You know what?
This is showing up on camera. Notice how the graphical interface actually pushes in like real buttons. 25 years ago we had three-dimensional graphics, and now on all the stuff today we have garbage, flat, lifeless, lousy graphics. I don't understand what happened. Even a stinking oscilloscope has nice graphics.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between CRT oscilloscopes and the ones you have now, there's no comparison. The ones now blow these away.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the interface, that's all.
The interface on this is pretty good. However, as far as CRTs go, this is probably one of the best CRTs that was ever made for oscilloscopes. All right, I'm not going to mess around with it. I'll just, there we go. I'm going to average this so that there's not a bunch of junk in there.
Are we getting a decent enough reading to come up with something?
Alright, that gives us some, it's weird, it's... Alright, that's something. So I should be able to measure the frequency on this directly because it has this measurement menu. I don't know why it's having so much trouble triggering. It's probably because it's having trouble finding an edge because it's not a perfect sine wave. But based on the shape of this waveform, I would assume that the power factor is probably pretty respectable on this. It's not 1. There's no way because there's too much harmonic distortion. But
well, we can check the power factor with kilowatt meter.
Yeah, we could. It's right over here, actually.
Oh, I couldn't see where it was.
All right, so me see if I can stop this thing jittering around. Here we go. So for hold off, I want to set that to, see, maybe 10 milliseconds will be good enough. Let's see, so that's 5, 10, 15, so it should be about 16.6. Yeah, okay, so it stopped jittering around. We'll do a single shot. I can do cursors here. So interestingly enough, alright, so this would make sense. So it's actually flickering at 120 hertz. So it's taking a gulp of current in the positive direction, and then it's taking a gulp of current in the negative direction. So the flicker would be 120 hertz, which would make sense. So if that's the case, I should be able to put this bulb in backwards and it'll still work. It doesn't. You have a multimeter?
I do.
Yeah, I want to check the...
I do, but it's not present. It must be in the garage.
What about that fluke up there? Is that okay?
Yeah, we could use that one.
Because I'm wondering if these are back-to-back diodes.
This one is actually probably more precise than the other one.
Yeah, I just want to see. I just want to do a diode check and see if it conducts in both directions, because that'll tell us if there's back-to-back diodes or if these are series diodes. But I mean, it is drawing current in both directions. If it was drawing current in one direction, it would be flickering at 60 hertz. So it tells me it's flickering at 120, which would make sense. Okay. I have the same exact one, but I have the next model up. The only difference is the 117, which is what I have, has a voltage detection stick built into it. Which it's okay, but I think the stick itself is better because it fits in confined spaces better.
Actually has a charge. It's half a miracle around here.
Alright, so we'll do a diode check on this. My arm's not blocking the camera, is it? Because
No,
I know that's happened before. Alright, so it doesn't conduct in one direction. It doesn't conduct in either direction, which is kind of weird. The meter may not be putting out enough open circuit voltage to light up the LED.
You want to pull the tabs out and try the alligator clips?
We might have to do that.
I want to see if I can locate the other meter, because that one has the alligator clips.
Okay. If I remember correctly, I think that this has alligator clips in the box. At least my 117 came with it. No, it didn't. I'm thinking of my 287.
Did you see she's putting out Christmas lights?
Oh.
Look out that window there.
Is she putting them up or taking them
She's
down?
putting them up. They've been going. She's had those lights on the deck since I moved in. About 2 weeks they disappeared, and now today she's putting them back.
Okay.
It looks like a different string to me. Maybe the other one's broke.
Wouldn't it be funny if it's the same string as the one that we haven't taken out of the... No, that's the wrong color. It can't be.
Those look like actual Christmas lights. She used to have ones like I have on the deck.
Oh, really?
The
Like
bigger
those
ones.
like weird filament, retro filament looking
Yeah.
things? So there's something funny going on with this string because... Because I can't get a continuity reading in either direction.
You want to try these clips?
Yeah.
It might make a better connection.
Yeah, let's see. What I may end up having to do is bring it to work and, maybe one of the spare bulbs or something and hooking it up to an actual power supply. It's not biting down on it because the wires are so short. Okay, so it's not measuring continuity in that direction. And it's not measuring continuity in this direction either. So what that tells me is that, I guess I'll go into some, nerdy engineering jargon here. You don't actually measure resistance directly. What you have is you have a current source, so it's pumping a known amount of current, and then you're measuring the voltage across the thing that you're actually trying to measure the resistance of, and then it calculates what the resistance is because of Ohm's law. So when you open circuit this thing, that's the most amount of voltage you could ever put out. The smaller the resistance, the smaller the voltage becomes. The greater the resistance, the greater the voltage becomes. But this thing can't go infinity, otherwise it would be, it's not possible. So I'm guessing that the voltage required to illuminate this LED is higher than the open circuit voltage of the meter is in resistance mode. And I'm guessing that this probably puts out maybe 4.5 volts open circuit, which we can actually check with that thing, since we have it. I wasn't expecting this video to go off on this tangent like this. So what we can do is we can hook these up to this. Right.
That has a thing on the
little
back.
handle on it. Here you go. Ooh! At least I didn't kick the tripod, right? Alright, so... And depending on what range it is, we'll also set the open circuit voltage.
I think this has a... it should have a stand too. Yeah. It's not as good, but...
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's measuring like about a half a volt open circuit voltage. Now if I change ranges, that should change. See, it went down to 0.3. Yeah, so the highest it can possibly be is 2.5. So this bulb probably needs like maybe 3.5 volts in order to illuminate, and this thing just can't do it. So
does that indicate that that string has a bunch of different series in it?
The problem is I don't know, because I can't, without using the meter to measure continuity in both directions, I can't tell if it's back-to-back diodes or if it's diodes in series or not inside of the actual bulb. I'm guessing it's probably just one LED, and maybe what's happening is this diode is conducting, this LED is conducting in one direction, this LED is conducting in the other direction, and your eyes are canceling those out, against each other. I don't know. I honestly don't know how this is wired, and I don't have the equipment here to really dig into it further, unfortunately.
Well, what's confusing to me is that if you look inside of here, there doesn't seem to be a connection that's carrying the current, but there has to be something, because otherwise it wouldn't work when you take it out.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's a resistor underneath that plastic or something.
I don't like how loose these fit in here. This is bound to fall out over time.
Yeah, with a bunch of temperature cycles, I could see it loosening up. This one feels pretty good and tight, though. Like, I have to put quite a bit of force in that, too.
I don't know if it makes a difference to you in your theory, but if you take one out, the whole string gets a little bit dimmer, exponentially.
Yeah, I'm guessing that diodes are funny things. They're basically a short circuit, but only in one direction. But in order to conduct current, now we're getting really into the weeds of, like...
it's probably going over everyone's head.
Yeah, doping and whatever. But a diode chews up a little bit of voltage as it conducts in one direction. So a diode doesn't work the same exact way as a resistor does. So I'm guessing that the resistor value inside of there is probably a little bit bigger than what the, and I'm saying this in air quotes, equivalent resistance of this diode would actually be. So that might be part of the reason why. So for anybody still listening, wah, 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 anybody who still cares. So yeah, the answer is it looks like it's flickering at 120 hertz. I don't know if this is flickering, positive, and then this one's flickering negative. I just don't know.
I have a very high-speed camera.
Oh, okay.
Which I think will capture up to, I want to say 4,000 frames a second at the highest setting. Would that tell us anything if
Yes.
we took a very high-speed video of it?
It would, because you'd see this one on and this one off. So as long as you can do probably maybe 240 frames per second, that might be enough.
I think the GoPro can at least do 240.
Oh, okay. It's probably like really crummy resolution, but for what we're doing, it's just, is this lit up at the same time as this or not?
Well, let me get the GoPro and see if,
Okay.
if we can tell.
Do we want to pause the regular video, or do we want to just do both at the same time? It's up to you.
I don't feel like editing it.
One take wonders. And for anybody who still is watching, I appreciate you listening to my nerdy jargon.
Just for the curiosity of it, this is the high-speed camera that I have.
Oh, wow.
This is the FPS 1000 high-speed camera. And I think that this was, I don't know if this ever went into formal like product sales or not, but this was like a startup company made this.
Oh, okay.
And there's very few of these out in the public. And it's kind of glitchy. It almost feels like a college project. You know, it kind of works, but not quite. But it's kind of a cool camera. So maybe
Okay. If we
fun
have
with
to,
that.
yeah.
I don't even think I have the batteries charged up. It takes 18650 cells.
Oh, so that's a standard
Yeah, I have them. I
lithium-ion
just have
fire
to charge
starter.
them. Pretty much.
I mean, I think the Samsung cells, like from a reputable manufacturer, the 18650s are probably okay. It's when
I
you buy the
agree.
garbage on Amazon where
Yeah.
they just take the keyboard and they go like this with the name.
I'm most comfortable with the 18650 cells.
Those seem to be the least dangerous.
So this I think can take, this should be able to go up to, what the heck is looping?
Actually, I wonder what the shutter speed is on my phone.
240, and actually it was still film at 2.7K, which is pretty impressive.
Wow, that's very
It's
impressive.
an extremely powerful thing in this little box.
That's why they run so hot.
Exactly, a lot of processing power, not a good heat distribution.
Let's see what my phone can do if I go to a low resolution. No, I can only do 60 frames per second with this. Actually, 8K I can do 30. But
8K, that's crazy. We don't even have 8K screens.
I'm gonna say, like, what even is 8K?
So this is 240, and actually we can see just from the preview that it's getting a little weird. Or that blue one was kind of weird at first. Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, the problem is I can't tell if these are both on at the same time or not. They look like they are, but it's also not banding.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so they are on at the same time. I bet they're back-to-back diodes.
Hold on, we gotta get a picture of this.
Yeah,
That was kinda
it's one
interesting.
thing for us looking at it, but I don't think anybody can see what we're actually doing here.
So I guess the preview must actually also be in 240,
Well, is it? I don't know.
or maybe it's just in. Oh shoot.
Do you want to shut off the studio lights?
Yeah, we can do that.
Probably be a little easier to see. Can you play a video back on the GoPro?
I can, yes.
Oh, okay. Because my Hero 3 is so old that it doesn't even have a screen, so...
I'm getting a good picture of it now. Here's the band. So, case in point, we can see that at 240 frames per second, the bulbs are flickering at exactly the same time.
It looks like the whole string is
Actually,
if you
I
look
wonder
carefully
if this
enough.
camera would just take it natively. Oh yeah, it does. Duh.
Yeah, I think they're all flickering at the same time. So I'm not sure really what's going on. I'm betting that they conduct in both directions.
Let's get a good thumbnail here. This is getting way more technical than it should ever have been.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's still watching it, but when you were getting the camera before, I said, if anybody's still watching, thank you.
If someone's really interested in this, he or she is going to watch the entire video, because I don't think there's anybody else out there that's putting oscilloscopes on Christmas lights.
Maybe we can get the folks at, what is it, True Tone to watch this. I'm sure they have a lot of free time now that the season's over.
Yeah. I wonder how they did this year.
I'd be interested to find out.
I hope they don't just disappear. That's what I'm afraid of. They're just going to disappear one day.
So anyway, I mean, this is a respectable product as far as flicker goes. It's not flicker free. It's dramatically improved flicker, but not flicker free.
I could live with this if it said reduced flicker, because this is a lie. This is a straight up lie on this advertisement here.
Yeah, it's not flicker free. Free means it doesn't exist.
Right, which is not true here.
Or maybe the flicker is free. They don't charge you for it. So maybe it's not a lie.
This was pretty expensive. What do you think would be a fair price for this string of 150?
I think that probably between $12 and $15.
Try 30.
So that's what it was before clearance?
Yep.
Yeah. But what I mean is...
That's steep to me.
But you buy the string and the flicker is included at no extra charge, so it's flicker for free.
Well, they added extra charge. You know, if you think 12 is a reasonable price, then it's $17 or $18 a flicker. Expensive flicker.
No, but the flicker's free. Like even at $30, the flicker they don't charge you for it.
Well, anyway, I think we should move on to the next string. It's turning into a brain rot video.
Yeah, now it's getting a little wonky here.
It's a shame because I agree these are pretty respectable lights, and if it didn't say flicker free, I really wouldn't have much commentary on these.
I do like how nicely, like the spacing is decent on it.
The spacing is decent, the coloring is decent, the lighting, for what they are.
Yeah, for what they are. And I also actually, and this is like extremely nitpicky for anybody who's interested in me being extremely nitpicky, I really like how tightly wrapped the wires are twisted. Because a lot of times they're like an unraveled mess. And
I like that too.
Yeah, that's like one of my pet peeves with Christmas lights.
But it does have the open sockets on the end, which I showed in the other video, so first rainstorm, this is all going to corrode.
You know what actually doesn't, and you should take a video of this after you take them down, are the GE Classics. The bulb actually has this, it may even be worth, just because we're talking about it, getting one of the spare bulbs from the little cellophane packet that it comes with. It's actually like T-shaped, and it shoves in between the wires.
Well, let's go take a look at the ones I have in service right now upstairs.
All right.
Hopefully there's enough battery left in this.
Guessing the battery's getting kind of dodgy in that thing.
Well, the problem is I seldom ever actually use the battery. I use it plugged in most of the time, and so the battery doesn't get used.
Oh, I see.
So it kind of wears out prematurely.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll have to turn on the light in the room, unfortunately.
We could turn this on.
Yeah, that would work good. See that nice preheat?
Well, it should work good, but it's not.
Is it plugged in?
No. It doesn't
I wasn't being
magic
sarcastic
anymore.
when I asked that either.
It's a valid question.
Yeah, so if you look at the back of this, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you see that white? It's not perfect by any means.
It's
but
better.
Yeah, so look, I'll take the bulb out. So what this does is it kind of jams inside the socket between the two wires, and it's some, last-ditch effort to try to seal the thing up from the back. And, I have a couple of strings of these at home, and they've held up exceptionally well. I don't think I've ever had corrosion problems, and I live pretty close to salt water, too. That's another reason why I like these lights so much.
These are nice lights. I like them, too. I guess that's the end of this video. Oh, no, we got the other string to do. The other flicker-free string.
Oh, look, it's drawing current with nothing plugged in. Actually, that's...
Is that not just a straight 60 hertz?
Yeah, it's just picking up junk, hum in the air. It's a very, very sensitive instrument, so...
Probably the hum from this fan.
It could very well be. Yeah, I mean, now that I zeroed it out, it's fine. So again, we'll temper our expectations that this is not flicker-free. It's reduced flicker, and I'm curious what you think of these. How you think they compare to the opaque ones? I don't like the shape of the filament, but I do like the color a lot.
I think that the True Tone filament is probably more accurately shaped than these. Although I have not seen anything other than pictures.
But for what these cost, they're respectable.
What did these cost on sale?
So these are on clearance. I bought them the day after Christmas. They were $10.
And what were they originally?
$25. So they were 60% off.
That's still a fraction of True Tone.
Yeah.
Because remember, these are strings of 25, and True Tone sells, I think, strings of 15.
Yeah, well, guess who I'd rather give the money to, though?
Oh, I agree 100%. But in terms of market value and what consumers are going to respond to, this is probably the product.
Oh, we forgot to measure the power factor of those. We'll have to plug them back in and check.
You're going to check the power factor?
Oh, I thought you were filming something on the back of it. Don't mind me.
We're all doing the best we can.
Okay. So, 0.77. So it's okay.
That's like the best for a shaded bulb motor.
Yeah. I mean, for something that doesn't have any sort of power factor correction built into it, that's actually very good. Anything over 0.5 is decent for something like this.
Okay, so it has respectable power factor.
Yeah, and I mean, the shape of the waveform kind of shows that. Oh, now it's picking up the the current going into the kills a watt.
How much power does the kilowatt meter use?
I don't know, we can measure the... Who cares? This video's
I have
long
two.
enough.
I could plug a kilowatt meter into the kilowatt meter.
Is that like dividing by 0?
Potentially.
Yeah, so I think the color on this is actually very good.
I agree. The color is very good on these. To me, these are extremely flickery compared to the other ones.
You think these flicker more than the opaque?
Oh, yeah. This, actually, to me, this is horrible.
Now, are you looking at the loose bulbs, or are you looking at the
I'm looking
carrier?
everywhere. The whole thing is flickering to me.
Well, I remember when we looked at the opaque ones, you said that until you pulled them out.
No, I'm looking at these 5 here. The whole thing is flickering horrible to me. This makes the other ones look great. Not that I think the other ones didn't look good, but looking directly at it, I don't see it. But anything outside of the direct vision is horrible.
So if I squint, and you could probably zoom in with the camera, there's like, it looks like 7 dots inside of the bulb that are the actual diode emitters.
Yeah, so it's like a basic LED filament bulb.
Yeah.
The banding is so bad I can't even get a picture of it.
Really? Well, what may be screwing it up is the oscilloscope. I might have to...
You want to plug the lights in somewhere else?
No. I'm just saying that your eye may be picking up on the banding from the oscilloscope, that's all.
Oh.
Not your eye, the camera.
No, I've got the camera zoomed in 100%.
Oh, okay.
The bulb.
I'm
Yeah.
curious what that looks like.
That's pretty bad.
I guess when it's opaque, it's probably hard
Look
to
at
notice.
that. It's almost a full blank screen.
I can't even focus on it. I mean,
Yeah,
not that this thing has the best focus anyway, but...
Yeah, that's... To me, these flicker like crazy.
How do these compare to the DELs that you used on the deck normally?
Those are pretty bad, too.
Are these
Probably.
worse, or...?
No, they're probably about the same.
Oh, okay.
Probably should cut that part out. Okay. Yeah, I agree. The coloring is really nice, but to me, these flicker pretty bad. I think these flicker more than the, or the flickering appears more than the opaque ones.
I'll tell you what, this would be a perfect opportunity, and maybe we should even break this up into 2 videos. This would be the perfect opportunity to run these on in DC and see what happens.
Yeah, I think there's something with my eyes when it's a direct exposure to the actual dial with no shielding whatsoever. That to me seems to always make it worse. So I'm actually not surprised at these compared to the opaque, even though the opaque is probably the same thing inside.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Actually, that little transformer thing is still right under there in the box.
Is it this one here?
The one on the, all the way on the right. Just
You want to keep it in this video, or do you want to make a separate one? I don't know.
We'll make a separate video.
Because this video is getting kind of long.
Yeah.